Hey guys, it's quote unquote your boy, Ballface8020, back again with another great comment or great response video. So in this video, we're back in the office with Uncle C, and you see in this he's going to tell you the best way to approach a girl without being creepy. Um, this video isn't like particularly great response fodder. You think it would be from hearing that, but from seeing that title, but it's really not. Um, but I wanted to do it anyway because of something that I had said earlier. Do you remember, that video of him with his like protege, or whatever you want to call them, and he's talking to him about how they ran text game and won, quote unquote, won by getting the girl to say she didn't want to see him. You can go back and watch that video if you're interested. It's a mess. But I was actually praising Casey's what Casey tried to do there with the text game. And it was actually a sometime commenter on my video, named, goes by the handle New Poster. He actually has black red pillish videos of his own, that you can go check out if you're interested in more black pill stuff. It's just New Poster, NEW space POSTER. But he was very critical of what Casey did. Whereas in the video I was praising it, he was very critical, saying, no, you can't, none of this shit on text works. That's not how, because it's all about feeling it in the moment. You got to be man up and do it all, make a move in person. And, I hadn't really thought of it that way, and I think he's absolutely right. So that's really what makes me want to respond to this video. So, kudos to Casey for at least putting it out there, how you should do it. But let's hear what Casey has to say. Or I'm sorry, should we say Casey or should we say Headman? So I'm a little confused about Casey's marketing. His name is Casey Zander. That's the name of his channel. His name that he's trying to push is Headman, and which I think is a really bad name. I think it's terrible. But then in the videos, he always introduces himself as Uncle C. So I think maybe you should stick one name and go with that. It's just my opinion. And then again, like I said before, Casey makes a lot more money than me, so take it for what it's worth. Oops, didn't actually start it.
Over the past 3 years, I've crafted the perfect approach sequence so that way a man never is rejected off the open, never insecure off the open, and also never nervous about the dependency of the out.
Okay, well, right away, this is bullshit. I like what he's saying about having a strong opening that you're comfortable with. As always, I can relate this to sales. I think this is really important. But never get rejected. I'm sorry, dude. Even Henry Cavill is going to get rejected. That's how this shit goes. So I know he's going to say, well, it's never get rejected off the open. Yes, no, trust me, even Henry Cavill will. So that's just insanity. And Casey must know better. I don't know what the hell he's trying to say. But the thing he said about being confident in your opener, that's absolutely true.
Outcome of what that woman says. Now, if you stay with me until the end of this video, you're going to discover exactly how to ensure that you approach a woman the right way every single time without it ever being awkward.
How to cold approach a girl without it ever being awkward? What? Maybe if you're like a young Jack Nicholson, maybe that's the only way I could see it happening. It's the only time it's ever not awkward, ever, is in the movies, So, but hey, again, props to Casey for putting it out there and trying to do it. Let's see. Maybe his opening shit is good. We'll see.
Hi, my name's Casey Zander. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the founder of Headman. The entire purpose of this channel is...
I don't think there's too many people out there who don't know who Casey Zander is. You don't. We're talking about the world's foremost authority on masculinity and maintaining masculine frame in a relationship. So, not to mention, a world famous fitness trainer or a real Renaissance man. So, I think there was a little false modesty on Casey's part. I don't think there's anybody out there who doesn't know who he is.
is to ultimately help men, ensure that we can revitalize masculinity and make men strong again. So that way we have direction, we have focus, we have.
So, at what point in time did men cease to be strong? So we were strong, apparently strong again, right? So we were strong at some point in the past, and then we became weak. When did this happen? Was this like in the '60s or something? I'd like a time frame on this.
Have purpose, and we're strong, healthy individuals. Now, let's get into the meat and beans of why you clicked this video. Okay, you clicked this video because you want to know the exact way to approach a woman, so that way you're in control of the outcome, but at the same time not dependent on the outcome. You want to know the actual best way to approach her, and I'm going to show you.
Well, you're never going to be in control of the outcome. I think, in control of the conversation should be the goal. Control of the conversation, control of the process, that should be the goal. Control of the outcome's out of your hands, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to, because this what we're talking about. Pickup artistry is a form of sales. Except you're not selling a product for money, I hope. You're selling yourself. But it is a form of sales. It really is. And I really see that now. And I didn't appreciate that before I got into sales myself. In fact, to the point there, if there is anybody out, if I met somebody who was interested in PUA, I mean, obviously I would tell them, look, it's a bad idea, stay away from this shit. But like, you don't need to spend money to go to a PUA boot camp. Instead, find a job doing in-person sales, and somebody will pay you to learn the stuff you need to do from PUA. Although, in a sales meeting, you probably wouldn't want to be keno escalating. So there are some exceptions, but really, it's a form of sales. But anyway, no, you're never going to be in control of the outcome. That's out of your hands. It's where what it's about is not focusing on the outcome. Focus on the process. The process works, but if you do it enough times, it's not going to work every time. It's probably not going to work most times. Depending again, I'll go back to Henry Cavill. Even Henry Cavill is going to fail more than he succeeds if he was doing this. So.
You this. It really only comes down to a 3-step process, and within this 3-step process, this has been boiled down to an exact science. Not only is this the exact process that I've shared with hundreds of students, but
well, I want to stop him just there. I mean, I don't want to nitpick. I don't believe that you can ever say it's a science. I think it's always going to be a mixture of art and science, and to the point where it's more of an art than a science. There is a science to it. I get that, but it's always going to be require some feel on your part for feeling and improvisation. So it's not just a push button or scripted thing. Okay.
At the end of it, you're going to actually have clarity why your mindset has been stuck from time to time and you're so nervous on the approach. Number 1, tip number 1, state your intent. You have to state your intent why you're actually there. For those of you so nervous about making a man-to-woman interaction, you're so nervous about things becoming awkward, would you like to know a little hidden secret? Why things become awkward? Things become awkward.
Well, things become awkward because you're approaching somebody you don't even know and trying to pursue some type of romantic interaction. I mean, it's already awkward. It doesn't become awkward. It's inherently awkward. And then it gets awkward, and then often you're doing it with a girl who's not interested in you, or maybe she's just super shy, or there just isn't chemistry. Things that are totally out of your hands. But again, let's let him have his say.
Time and time again, strictly because the man does not state his intent. Stating your intent.
That isn't what makes it awkward, though. She knows exactly what you're trying to do. So I'm not saying don't state your intent, because I want to hear what else he has to say about this, because I saw it a while ago and I already forget. But she knows damn well why you're bothering her. Okay, women can be naive about some things, but women have a very good understanding of what motivates men and what men want and what men are after when they're talking to them. Women are super good. Guys are the ones who kind of struggle sometimes to tell if women are into them or not. Most likely with guys, it's often they think women are into them when they're not. But it can be the reverse. There's guys who women can be into them. I've seen this. Girls were into them and they just completely missed it. Hell, apparently I've had it happen to me back when I was a kid. What were we talking about again? But no, you don't need to state your intent because she knows exactly what you're doing. I mean, there might be other reasons for stating your intent, but she knows damn well. So that's not the problem.
Is actually what takes the awkwardness out of it. Like, hey, I'm a man. It's normal for me to approach a beautiful woman. That's the congruency in your head that you want to come at this from. And when you state your intent, you want to be very straight up with her. Hi, my name is Casey. I found you attractive. You seem like the type of woman I might want to get to know. This is very easy to do. You seem like the type.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know if, like, I know that Casey's got a sales background. That I think this is, like, again, it's not, it's a type of sales, but there's enough of a difference that I wouldn't do the same thing. I think that what he's doing would be a good approach for if you were, like, selling furniture or something. I don't like it as a way to start a conversation. You're really kind of putting her on the spot. You need to leave this. Again, we're not talking about true sales. We're talking about a romantic or potentially romantic interaction. You got to be a little bit more socially aware than that. So he's saying, like, hey, I'm Casey. I found you very attractive. You seem like the type of woman I would like to get to know. I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. I don't like it. So what would I recommend as an alternative? I don't know. Hey, well, my brother had told me one that he used to do in college, and he was pretty successful. He told me he would just say, "Hey, I'm Scrotum Head 99." That would be his entire opener. His name is Scrotum Head 99. He would just say that and then kind of let her go from there. I think that one's I mean, he had success with it, so you can do that. That worked, and I've seen another guy do that too. And then, or you got to lead in with something a little bit better than "I found you attractive." It's really putting her on the spot. Again, if you look like Henry Cavill, you can try it, but I don't know. Yeah, so what would I recommend? I don't know. Hey, I'm Ballface 8020. Honestly, if it was me, I'd probably open with some shitty joke to see if I could get any reply or something like. But that's just me. You know, to each their own, I guess. It's got to be something that works for you. You can try it Casey's way. I don't like it, and I think it's going to reduce your success chance. And I also think you're going to be more likely to start the conversation off awkwardly. If New Poster is watching this, he should say what he thinks in the comments.
Type of woman I want to get to know. Do you have a minute? Do you have 2 minutes? Do you have 5 minutes? I don't know how long you.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah. Okay. That's good.
These are logistics I need to figure out. The second that you take the pressure off yourself to stop making this perfect and you just talk to the woman as if this is somebody you have to talk to, like a store clerk you're about to buy ice cream from, things become normal. And in 2021, I want to actually make things.
That's fucking bullshit, man. It's no. I mean, maybe for you, Casey, but for like 99% of humanity, it's a complete stranger who, again, you're trying to start up, like, against maybe something romantic with, who you just cold approached. Sorry, man. I mean, the only way for it to not be awkward at all is for her to be like some manic pixie dream girl who comes to you first. That's the only fucking way, all right? Or else there's going to be some awkwardness, and that's just the price of doing business.
It's normal for men to talk to women and women talk to men again without there being this phone barrier. Well, things are so awkward. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you why this has actually became a confusing state for men to be in.
Yeah. And this is really what made me want to review the video. I had praised Casey's advice in the video he does with the younger guy, talking about how he, used that text pickup line. And I like I said, I had praised it, and it was that New Poster guy who criticized it, and I hadn't really thought too much of it at the time, but I've been thinking about it a lot more now, because I can tell you that, like I said, I'm in sales, and it used to be, like, back in the 80s and even in the 90s before caller ID, that, like, cold calling was a lot bigger than it is now. So cold calling like was like a dominant way of selling for a long time. Maybe not dominant, but it was a huge way of selling for a long time. There was this guy who made like it was making over $200,000 a year calling people up out of the phone book, and saying, and his line was, "Hey, you want to buy life insurance? I'm being serious." And that shit wouldn't fly today. Again, there's caller ID, there's cell phones. People like you got a lot of people who don't answer their phones and stuff like that. So there are a lot of people say like, "Oh, well, cold calling's dead." That's an extreme exaggeration to say the least. However, what you do have is a lot of people now hiding behind text and email. Okay, which texting and email is and I mentioned Benjamin Dennehy before. He said it can be a great way to get stuff in your funnel. It's a great way to generate business. But at the end of the day, texting and email is not selling. It's marketing. Marketing is extremely important, but it's not selling. Selling comes from a real conversation. That can be on the phone, it can be on Skype, or it can be in person. This stuff that's going to be hard, right, to do any type of pickup behind email or texting. You're just going to be spinning your wheels. If you want to pick her up, you're going to have to talk to her, and that's either going to be on the phone at least, like via Skype, but really it's going to have to be for a relationship. It's going to be you two together physically, right? Like in person. So it's going to have to be face to face, and just like face to face is always has been and always will be the best way of sales, and it's only getting bigger now as more and more people are shying away from the phone. That's going to be. It's the same thing with. It's more than the same thing with relationships, because again, you can't Kino escalate over the phone. There's no alternative to face. So it's not about having good text game or saying the right shit on Instagram messages. That's a form of marketing. If you want to sell, close the deal, that's about what you do in person. So Casey's right. Casey's 100% right. Listen to Casey in this instance.
That's number one. State your intent. Yes, I do slightly validate off the open due to the fact that if I don't, she's going to be like, why is this random stranger coming up talking to me with nothing good to say? Okay, this is a message you want to convey. And if she doesn't like it, well, cool, because I only wasted 30 seconds. That's tip number one. Tip number two, okay, take the pressure off of her. You have to understand.
Well, by starting the conversation with "I found you attractive and you're a woman that I want to get to know," I think you kind of started by putting pressure on her.
Just how rare it is in 2021 going into 2022 for a man to actually approach a woman. Like virtually no men have the strength to do it.
Yeah, and this is kind of a similar thing happening in sales, that you're seeing fewer people make cold calls or show up to or like door knock anymore. It's a lot less than it used to be, but it's for the same reason that why aren't people approaching women? Why aren't people approaching women? Well, I mean, it's because they're not getting very good results, and there's part of it. It's a two-pronged thing. Part of it is there's alternatives. Like, why would you go knock on doors for sales when you can put out ads or send emails or text or shit like that, or robocalls? And it's the same thing with women. Why would you go out and try to like pick them up in person when you can go to dating sites, with a lot less awkwardness? And the reason that you shouldn't do those things is because they're not as effective. But then we have to go a little bit further. A lot of guys, in an increasingly black-pilled world, like there are certain things that just don't work anymore. Like, how come nobody cold calls anymore and just says, "Hey, do you want to buy life insurance? Do you want to buy life insurance?" Because it doesn't work. And a lot of guys are discovering that, or have discovered that going and trying to pick up girls doesn't really work. Now, some of it's because of, shitty tactics on their own part, but a lot of it's because girls aren't really receptive to it. If you're I don't know. I don't even want to say if you're not chat. If you're just, I don't know, if you're not physically what she's looking for, it's tough, man. It's tough. So, but again, and it's something like me, like even when I was younger, it's just not something. I mean, not everybody's receptive to it, and not everybody wants to do it. Like, I would have rather seen like 100 girls get away than me to just go and cold approach some chick I didn't know. Like, any girl who I ever was with, we had, like, you know, met some doing something else, and I, like, I was able to kind of escalate it from some type of other relationship. Doesn't mean you go to be friends first per se, but it means you have some opening to talk. But just cold approaching a girl, even if it was guaranteed to work, I wouldn't have done it when I was younger, because it's just not something I want to do. But that means that there's opportunity out there for people who do want to do that stuff, right? If a lot of guys aren't doing it. But I think that's more of a generational thing. So if Casey's saying you should go out and cold approach, I really disagree. I really disagree. I don't think you should. My philosophy is you don't approach unless there's an indicator of interest. But I think he's right that there is some opportunity there. If that's what he's trying to say, who knows?
Even very attractive men, very tall men, good looking men, those men even have to be drunk or under the influence of some substance as well to do it. So take that pressure off of her. When you do approach a woman and you're very forward with what it is that you want or what you're thinking or that you want to get to know her, she's going to go like this the whole time. I'm nervous. I got a boyfriend. That's what she's going to say. Because of that, take the pressure off of her. Hey, I'm sure this probably doesn't happen to you quite often, but because of that, I just wanted to let you know that if you're not feeling it, if we don't vibe throughout this quick little interaction,
I don't know how rare it is, because the thing is, like, like, even an average, like, let's say you're 6'3" but average looking, okay, and not like fucking insane. I know that there are some 6'3" guys who don't ever get approached by women because they're nuts. But let's say you're 6'3" and average looking, you're gonna get approached by a woman like at least once a month, okay. So for a woman, I would imagine it's happening at least that often, if not more than that. Um, just in reference to Casey's, I'm sure this doesn't happen to you that often thing. Like, even like, probably happens more often than women themselves think. I think it's when women say they don't get approached, they probably mostly mean they don't get approached by, Chad types. That's what I'm thinking, because I'm saying, again, if like even average looking tall guys are getting approached, I would have to assume that, women are, like, pretty much all women are getting approached.
action, you're free to go. Take little things like that. State the intent, but also give her permission that, hey, if you're not feeling this, if this isn't the right mood, if I'm not for you as is, because there's a chance she won't be attracted to you, give her that opportunity to bail and be forward with you. As soon as you're able to take the pressure off of her, she's going to know a few things. Number one, it's not going to hurt your feelings if she says no. Number two, this is a normal situation for you. And number three, you don't necessarily care what will happen, but you're going to put your best foot forward so that way you have the best chances of actually attracting her. And when you do that, this is naturally going to heighten her sensitivity and her attraction towards you. Tip number three is you must...
I mean, I guess. I don't. I mean, it's like the opposite of what you would do in sales. So I'm kind of regretting that thing I said about how PUA is type of sales. There's sales elements, but there's some things very different. Like, that would be the exact opposite of what you would do in sales. But well, again, maybe not on an opener. Who knows? I see what he's saying. I guess it's okay. I don't know.
Must be outcome independent. Okay, I'm not dependent on getting that girl's phone number. I'm not dependent on getting that date. I'm not dependent on anything. Because when I get back to my house or when I get back to work, I'm still on my purpose. I still was born with great abilities and great skill sets. And even if I wasn't, I'm developing them. And I'm still a man of value, whether this woman takes me or leaves me. You got to remember, there's a fit for everybody. You're not going to be every girl's fit, just like I'm not going to be. Just like every single girl out there is not necessarily going to be your fit, okay? And
I mean, if she's young and attractive, she's my fit.
Man's 10 out of 10 dime is another man's 7, okay? And one man's...
To a point. I mean, everybody would agree that Eva Mendes in Training Day was a 10, right? So, to a point. Let's not go crazy.
7 is another man's 4, and one man's 4 is another man's 9. Like, you have to understand, like, this varies from individual to individual. And on the inside, all women are the exact same. They all want to look beautiful, they all want to have options, and they all want to find Mr. Perfect. Because of that, why not just craft yourself as is? Or display the traits that she's going to view or find attractive. When you are outcome independent, Okay, when you take the pressure off of her, when you actually state your intent, this is a hidden cheat code to win the heart of virtually any woman, and I'm going to explain why. Women do not fall in love through looks as much as men. Women fall in love through your words, your actions, the context of your mannerisms, and how you make them feel.
I don't know. This certainly violates the black pill a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of a two-way street. I think it's black pillars all say that, women are more visual than the blue pill and red pill gives them credit for, which is unquestionably true. But at the same time, I would also say that men are less visual than we're given credit for. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. So yeah, it's how you make it feel. Well, I mean, there's got to be something to what Casey just said, right? Because status is such a huge thing. I mean, status may be even a bigger deal than height. That's how big status is. So I mean, it's probably not. Height's probably the biggest, but still, status. I mean, status is huge. So I don't know, man. I think that yeah, I don't know. We'll just go on.
How you make a woman feel when she's around you is very important. If you give her butterflies, if she feels safe around you, if she loves being.
Okay, yes, I agree. I agree with that. However, how you make a woman feel, that's because what is going to trigger a woman's feels more than height? Nothing. Nothing. I mean, it starts with height. This is why, but it kind of, and maybe this seems contradictory. This is why what I talked about personality mattering is true. Okay? Because yeah, it's how you make a woman feel is more important than how you look. This is why height is more important than face. Because height can trigger feelings in her that face simply cannot. Whereas, and this is why, personality and status really are important, because those are things that make women feel things. Feeling safe. Now, again, we all know in 2021, women don't need men for protection anymore, at least not in the West. However, that's kind of had the opposite impact of what you'd think. In a time where women did need our protection, it wasn't as important that you be tall, because you were going to be able to show that you were going to be able to provide her protection. So she didn't that protection you provided her was enough to create the feels. Now we're in a world where she doesn't need your protection. So there's no way for you to provide it. So the only way to trigger those same feels is through height disparity, through massive height. And so you would think, well, what about muscles? Women don't care about muscles, and you need that. Okay, first of all, a couple things. One, women, gym muscles, women don't care about. That's true. But frame, broad shoulders, women do care about that. So you're gonna get a lot further with a good frame and height than just good height. Second of all, why they don't like short guys with big frames? It's because, again, it's this height thing. For something about, part of it is because women just don't get it. Women really, and I've talked about this before. If you took some 6'3" guy, who was a complete beanball, say he was 6'3", weighed 150 pounds, and you put him next to a 5'10" NFL running back, and you ask women, said, who would win in a fight? They're all going to say the 6'3" guy because he's taller. That's seriously how women think. And so I mean that's part of it. But the frame size and stuff, it does still matter. It's just it just can't trump height. Height remains the biggest thing.
by you, you got to understand that those are emotions she can't necessarily help but have pulled out of her. That's why cold approach is a cheat code. That's why approaching women and having the strength to do it can take a guy who's a 4, 5, 6, or 7 and instantly convey the value of a 7, 8, 9, or 10 in that woman's eyes, and he can almost hack the game. See, when you operate off of this, a woman can't hear how you speak, a woman can't see your demeanor, and a woman can't see your social calibration.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. You know, I mean, I think he's a little bit off about doing it via cold approach, but that's what I would say. Like, let's say you're an average looking or below average looking guy. Forget about online dating. Okay, it's you're not any strengths, because that's not your strength. You're gonna be going up against Chad. You know, and so you already know you've lost that battle. So what's going to be your only chance is going to be, you know, personality and that's irrelevant online. You know, personality is something you've got to show, and you know, and it's about how you present yourself and stuff, and you know, your salesmanship, for lack of a better term. So I mean, Casey's totally right here.
Which means all she has to go for is left or right, looks or no looks. And because of that, it strips you of so many of the attractive qualities that drive a woman wild in a man. Okay? These are the 3 secrets to make approach very, very easy. And if you found value in this video...
Well, I don't think he made it easy at all. I think he's made it easy at all, but I think there was some value. He's talking about value in his video. I thought there was some value in this. I mean, look, if this is something you're interested in, go give it a shot. Give it a shot, and, you know, get back, tell us in the comments how it worked out for you. I mean, I really don't know. It's definitely not for me, but I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting stuff, you know. So to each their own, you know. I guess you could try, but I mean, he didn't really talk about like how else you would, you know, get to like the next stages and stuff. So it's more of like, he really didn't tell you what to do, other than like an opener that doesn't make sense and what to do after that. But I think he's right that there is some potential for it to work. You know, with even average looking guys, maybe. I don't know. That's all for now, and I'll see you in the next.